The Wilson family reunion was exactly as I remembered: vintage wine, designer labels, and the unmistakable echo of my sister Amanda's smug laugh reverberating through our parents' estate. "Oh, Olivia's still doing that government thing," Amanda trilled to our gathered cousins, lazily swirling her champagne. "Something with permits, regulations, I don't know." I took a sip of water, letting them draw their own conclusions. No need to mention the vineyard that produced the champagne she was drinking, or that I owned it. "Something like that," I said evenly. Stephanie, ever the backup vocalist in Amanda's chorus, chimed in. "Poor thing, must be tough watching everyone else thrive while you process forms." By everyone else, she meant Amanda, the crown jewel of Wilson Global, our father's empire, and the one who never missed a chance to remind me I'd chosen a small life in public service over a seat at her marble conference table. "We all do what we can to keep the lights on," I replied, thinking of my corner office at the FTC, where tomorrow, a very interesting merger file was scheduled to land. Cue Mom, floating in on a cloud of perfume and diamonds, planting a kiss on Amanda's cheek. "Darling, you simply must tell everyone the big news. The whole city's talking." Amanda lit up. "Well, I suppose I can give a sneak peek. We're about to close the biggest merger in Wilson Global's history, $500 million. She looked at me with a syrupy smile. "That's with an M, Olivia. I know government workers don't throw those kinds of numbers around." If she only knew how many billion-dollar deals pass across my desk weekly, most of them with more red flags than a bullfighting arena. But no one at this party had ever bothered to ask what I actually do. "Sounds exciting," I said. "When's the announcement?" "Tomorrow. We've kept it airtight. All the paperwork's already filed with the FTC." Her smirk widened. "Not that you'd be involved in anything that high level." Our father joined in with a proud clap on Amanda's shoulder. "She's rewriting history. Biggest deal we've ever landed." Amanda tossed her hair. "The Mitchell Group won't stand a chance. Once it's finalized, we'll control 30% of the market." I nearly choked. 30%? That would immediately trigger a federal review, one that would land, directly, on my desk. 30%? I repeated, keeping my tone neutral. "That's substantial." Amanda rolled her eyes. "Don't go all policy nerd on me, Liv. We've got the best legal team in Chicago. Everything's squared away." Blake, a cousin and self-important corporate lawyer, nodded like he'd just discovered gravity. "I vetted the documents myself. Solid." Amanda waved dismissively. "Besides, it's not like some anonymous government drone could tank a deal this size. We've got friends in all the right places." I thought of those friends, senators, CEOs, a former governor, all listed as references in their filing. Impressive names, none of which would shield them from an antitrust flag this red. "You seem very confident," I said. Amanda leaned in, her voice sugar-coated venom. "I understand business. You had your shot, remember? Dad offered you a VP title, and you walked away, chose obscurity. Don't expect applause for mediocrity." The room murmured its agreement, even my mother sighed, no doubt flashing back to the arguments from years ago. Then came Aunt Margaret, with her signature lack of tact. "Speaking of missed opportunities, are you seeing anyone, dear? 35's a bit late to still be single, isn't it?" I thought about the dinner I had planned next week with the CEO of the largest investment bank in America, the one who still didn't know I'd blocked 3 of his mergers. I gave Aunt Margaret a smile. "Not single, just selective. I'm focused on my career," I said simply. Cue the pitying smiles. The knowing glances. Amanda even reached across the table to pat my hand. "Of course you are, sweetie. Not everyone can be successful in both business and love." Right then, my phone buzzed. Text from Michael: "Preliminary review of Wilson-Mitchell merger complete. Major red flags. Full report on your desk first thing tomorrow." I typed back immediately, "Cancel all my morning meetings. This one needs my personal attention." Amanda glanced at the screen. That's probably her boss asking her to stay late again. She stage whispered to the cousins, "Government workers, always answering to someone else." I rose, smoothing down my understated black dress, the one Amanda had earlier called tragically off the rack. Little did she know it was bespoke, commissioned from a designer who didn't even list prices. "If you had to ask, you couldn't afford him." "Actually," I said, slipping my phone into my clutch, "I should get going." Big day tomorrow. Oh, right, Amanda smirked. Those permits won't approve themselves. I made it to the door before her voice called after me, syrupy and sharp. Don't worry, sis. Once the merger goes through, maybe I can find you something more suited to your skills at Wilson Global. I turned back, just once, letting a slow smile spread across my face. That's very thoughtful, Amanda. I'll be thinking of you tomorrow. Behind me, I heard her say, poor Olivia. Still a nobody after all these years. In the car, I opened Michael's preliminary report. Market manipulation. Predatory pricing. Hidden offshore subsidiaries. Wilson Global's perfect merger was about to become a regulatory disaster. The next morning, I arrived at the Federal Trade Commission before dawn. Our division took up the top 3 floors of a mirrored tower in the heart of downtown Chicago. My office, corner suite, panoramic skyline, looked straight toward Wilson Global's glass fortress, 8 blocks away. The sun rose. I sipped coffee. Somewhere across town, Amanda was preparing for a press conference that would never happen. Michael entered, a thick folder in his arms. Morning, Director Wilson, he said, placing the file on my desk. Complete merger documentation. Plus overnight analysis from the team. Director. A title my family never bothered to learn. Anything interesting? Michael gave a grim little smile. Where to begin? Shell companies in 3 countries. Evidence of price manipulation. A full-scale attempt to buy up Mitchell Group's debt through undisclosed entities. The acquisition isn't mutual, it's a hostile takeover dressed up with PR. I flipped through the evidence, each page exposing another crack in Amanda's empire. Who signed off on the legal compliance? Primary counsel, Blake Wilson. I raised an eyebrow. Our cousin Blake? The very one. Looks like he rubber-stamped every violation. Noted. His license might not survive the year. Just then, my phone buzzed. Amanda. I let it ring out. Michael hesitated. Given the, family dynamics, should we reassign the case? I thought about last night. The smirks. The condescension. The years they'd spent pretending I didn't exist. No, I said. I'm uniquely qualified for this one. By 9 a.m., Wilson Global had gone public with the merger. By 9:15, their stock surged 20%. By 9:30, my assistant knocked. Your sister's on line 1. Very persistent. I pressed the speaker button. FTC merger review. Director Wilson speaking. Silence. Then, Olivia. Good morning, Amanda. I assume you're calling about the Wilson-Mitchell filing. Director Wilson? Her voice cracked. Since when are you deputy director? 5 years. You'd know that if you'd ever asked. A beat. Then, Olivia, we need to talk. Privately. As family. Funny. Last night I was a paper pusher. Now I'm family. This merger is critical. For Dad. For the board. We should have done your due diligence, I said, tapping a button. A wall screen came to life with charts and financial breakdowns. Would you like me to start with the predatory pricing schemes or the undeclared subsidiaries? Whatever you think you found, our lawyers. You mean Blake? We'll be reviewing his bar credentials shortly. I clicked to the next document. And tell me, Amanda, how many shell companies did you really open in the Caymans? I've found 7 so far. A crash sounded through the speaker. Glass breaking, maybe. How did you find them? I analyze complex corporate fraud. That boring job you've mocked all these years? Turns out it's very good at catching exactly this kind of behavior. Another call flashed across my screen. I didn't need to check the name. I smiled and leaned back. Well, Amanda. You wanted me to be part of the family business. Looks like I finally am. My father. This time, I let the call ring out. Amanda's voice cracked through the speaker. The press conference is in an hour. The whole business world is watching. Then I suggest you prepare a different announcement. I reached for the red stamp reserved for one thing only, immediate regulatory intervention. This merger isn't just denied, Amanda, it's being referred for criminal investigation. Criminal? She shrieked. You can't do this, we're family. I pressed the stamp down with a satisfying thud. Funny, that didn't seem to matter when you were calling me a failure last night. She sputtered. I cut her off. But you were right about one thing, family should look out for each other. So consider this me saving you from federal prosecution. The doors burst open. My father stormed in, face flushed, Amanda right behind him. They both froze as they took in my office, the wall of awards, the skyline view, the calm authority of someone they'd underestimated for far too long. What the hell is going on? My father barked. I stood, slowly, security breach on the executive floor. I pressed a button on my desk. Michael, please escort our guests out and revoke their building access. Olivia, my father said, softening his voice. Princess, let's talk about this reasonably. I laughed. Last night, I was the disappointment. Funny how quickly that changes when you finally understand who holds the real power. Amanda stepped forward, pale and frantic. The board meets in 10 minutes. What am I supposed to tell them? Tell them the truth. Their illegal merger was stopped by the nobody in the family, the same nobody who's just ordered a full audit of Wilson Global's acquisitions over the past 5 years. My father collapsed into a chair. Previous acquisitions, he echoed. You really thought I wouldn't check? I tapped another key, screens lit up with data. Every shell deal, every buried clause, every price-fixing arrangement, it's all here. You'll destroy the company, Amanda whispered. No, I said evenly, you did that, when you decided the law didn't apply to you. I sat back down, calm, measured, unmoved. But I'm feeling generous. You have 48 hours to submit a restructuring plan, one that includes new leadership. My father's face turned ashen. New leadership? You want control of Wilson Global? Me? I smiled. I already have power, Dad, real power. Running Wilson Global would be a demotion. I looked past them to the skyline. But the Mitchell Group, I hear they're hiring, you might start there. Security arrived. As they were escorted out, Amanda turned. Why? She asked. Why do this to your own family? I thought about all the holidays spent being dismissed. The reunions where I was the punchline. The years I watched them climb higher by cutting corners I was hired to defend. Because someone had to remind you, I said, that being a nobody in public service outranks being a somebody who thinks they're above the law. They left. Michael returned with the day's remaining merger files. That was intense. Family usually is. I opened the next folder. Oh, and send everything to the SEC. I want my sister's next job interview to be with a federal prosecutor. That evening, as Wilson Global's stock tanked and the headlines exploded, my phone buzzed. Text from Mom, please, can we talk about this? I typed back, of course, my assistant will be happy to schedule something, there's an opening next month, or you could try the permit office nobody. Sometimes success isn't about proving people wrong. Sometimes it's letting them figure out how wrong they were, one denied merger at a time. A week later, Amanda resigned to pursue other opportunities. My father took early retirement. Blake's law license came under formal review. And me? I just kept doing what I always had, holding the line. That Friday, a new nameplate arrived for my office door. Director, Division of Merger Enforcement. I ran my fingers over the engraved brass, smiling. Still a nobody, I whispered. Just a nobody with the power to humble the somebodies. The next Wilson family reunion? If they dared to hold one at all, I'd be the name they couldn't stop whispering.